Alright, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Unfortunately, I have not posted in a while, but this time it's not actually my fault. My computer has just been broken, and it's been really, really messed up. I actually recorded and finished 2 videos, but they just didn't have, they just, they exported wrong, or during editing something went wrong, so I wasn't able to post them. But able to get a video out today. I'm going to be doing a mock draft for the draft. Hopefully this video is going to go up on Thursday, the day of the draft. So yeah, just going to be going through the lottery. I'm going to be talking about my picks and explaining why. And then after the lottery, I'm going to go pretty quickly with them until I get to the Nuggets pick. Then I'll explain that. But yeah, just hopefully this will actually be able to get out. And enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to be using this Fanspo. It's if you just look up Trade NBA on Google, it's going to be the first link. I'm going to be using this for the mock draft. I guess let's just get right into it. I explained what I'm going to be doing earlier. So the first pick, Detroit's got it. I feel like it's pretty obvious. There have been some reports they're not going to go with Cade Cunningham. I think that's pretty dumb. I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to go with Cade Cunningham. He's a great prospect. He has been not compared to Anthony Davis, but he's been said to be as good of a prospect as Anthony Davis, which is just insane considering, how good and how dominant Anthony Davis is now. It's a pretty obvious choice. Cade Cunningham was the first pick. Second pick, this was kind of up in the air until the last few days. It feels like Jalen Green is kind of now locked in the second pick. The Rockets thought about maybe going for Evan Mobley there for a bit, but I think Jalen Green really stuck out, and I agree with the pick. I think Jalen Green, he's been comped to Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, those type of scores, and athleticism is crazy good to have. And I think that they need to be able to put another creator alongside Kevin Porter Jr. I think it's going to be a great fit, and I think that Jalen Green is obvious choice for the second pick. All right, number 3. Now, there have been some rumors that Oklahoma City might trade up to number 3. They have all their draft picks with the trades that they made over the last few seasons. And they said that there's a chance that they could trade up to the number 3 pick and take Evan Mobley, but I'm going to be doing this mock draft under the assumption that no trades are happening, which obviously probably won't happen. But just where anyone's slotted, that's where I'm going to take their pick. And at number 3, I think Evan Mobley is as good of a prospect as you can get. He actually has been compared to Anthony Davis. Defensively, he's great. He's really mastered the art of shot blocking in college, and if you're able to do that, it's going to be able to translate well into the league. He's got a pretty good offensive game. He's got a really nice mid-range jumper, which is going to fit well alongside Jared Allen. The Cavaliers are going to have a really nice young core. They're going to have Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, their lottery pick from last year. They're going to draft probably an Evan Mobley, and they're going to have Jared Allen. That's a pretty good young starting 5, young core. Going Evan Mobley, number 3. And now at number 4, for the Toronto Raptors, Toronto's in kind of a weird position because they're not bad enough to be the number 4th pick. They have a lot of talent. They're probably going to lose Kyle Lowry, which means that they're going to need a point guard, or at least a guard, some type of creator. And to me, I think that's Jalen Suggs. I think that there has been some rumors about them maybe going with Scotty Barnes, and that probably was going to be the pick. I don't know. I love Scotty Barnes. I think he's a clear number 5 prospect in this draft. But I think for Toronto, I think Jalen Suggs is the obvious choice. I think having a creator alongside Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, he's big, he's long, he's got a pretty nice jumper, he's got a great feel for passing the ball, takes a lot of the load off offensively. I think he's a great fit. All right, number 5, your Orlando Magic. This is where I think Scotty Barnes goes. I don't think they're going to go with a guard. I think some people have said they might go with Davion Mitchell, who they still could take with their 8th pick, but I don't think they will. I think Scotty Barnes is locked in here at number 5. I think pairing him alongside with Jonathan Isaac, and you have those guards with Markelle Fultz, RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony. You traded for a big when Vucevic went. You got Wendell Carter back. You have Mo Bamba. So I think you need a wing, and I think that's exactly what Scotty Barnes is going to be able to do. He played point guard in college at Florida State. He's obviously not going to do that here, but it showed his versatility in terms of his playmaking. He was a really dynamic playmaker. He's incredible defensively. That's his true calling card. He's great defensively. He doesn't have a terrible jump shot, and on a team like the Magic, who aren't going to be competing for a while, he's going to be able to improve the jumper over the course of the next couple of seasons. So I'm taking Scotty Barnes at number 5. Number 6, here's where things get a little bit weird, at least for me. It says here number 6 prospect, according to ESPN, is Jonathan Kaminga. And I like Jonathan Kaminga, but I think Oklahoma City is going to take James Bouknight. Bouknight is, he's been rumored to be having dinners with Oklahoma City. He's said so much praise about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who he would be paired up with in the backcourt. He said he would love to be, said so many nice things about the organization. I think it's a pretty clear choice that Oklahoma City, if they stay at number 6, they're probably going to go Bouknight. Bouknight's probably the best scorer in the draft. If you're talking about pure scoring, he's probably the best there. He's a lights-out shooter. He's great. He's got good playmaking skills. Defense really isn't his calling card, but there's definitely room for improvement there, and there's definitely room that he can grow into for that. So, yeah, I'm going Bouknight at number 6. Okay, here at number 7 is where things get a little bit even weirder, because the Golden State Warriors, kind of like the Toronto Raptors, they're not bad enough to have a number 7 overall pick. You know, this was because of Minnesota's pick that they got in the D'Angelo Russell trade. They're not bad enough to be here, right? They don't really need anything. Like you see here, they only really need a small forward, and that is exactly why I think they're going to go with Jonathan Kaminga. I think having a defensive-minded wing, because they have another pick at 14th, who I will say who they're going to pick. But I think that taking a small forward, a power forward guy, a kind of a wing player here is going to do wonders for them. I know Kelly Oubre really wasn't that great for him. He didn't show as much as they wanted to. Wiggins was really, really inconsistent. He was more good than bad, but he still was very inconsistent. I think they're going to want to be able to get that contract off the books and kind of replace him with Jonathan Kaminga. So I think Kuminga's going to the Warriors. All right. Number 8, this pick could go any number of ways. I already said I think Orlando probably got the player that they wanted in Scotty Barnes earlier, but now it could go any number of ways. I don't think they'll go Giddey, because Giddey's more of a point guard. I think they're kind of locked at that position with Fultz and Cole Anthony. Mitchell, once again, kind of the same. He's a point guard, but he's more of a scoring point guard, which means that he's a little more likely. But I think they're going to go with another wing. I think they're going to go Franz Wagner here. Wagner is a lights-out shooter. He's a great shooter. He's the brother of Mo Wagner, who's on the Washington Wizards. He's a good young player. I think he's going to fit in well with them. But that could go any number of ways. That 8th pick, they could definitely trade it, go down, because they already picked in the top 5. So, but I think it'll be Wagner. All right, number 9, Sacramento Kings. Sacramento's been stuck in the lottery for the last 14 seasons, so they should be pretty good at this, but they're not somehow. But I think that they got a lot of picks here that they could really hit on. I don't think they're going to go Giddey, because Giddey, I think he matches De'Aaron Fox's play style in terms of how De'Aaron Fox was early in his career, where he was more of a playmaking guy. He could score, but he was kind of really inefficient, and playmaking was definitely his best attribute. I think that's how Josh Giddey is right now, and I think that's why they're going to go with Davion Mitchell instead. Davion Mitchell, I think. They have Buddy Hield right here, you see, but I believe Buddy Hield is probably going to be on the move, and I think they're going to want to get his replacement. I think getting a dynamic scoring guard who really has the ability to get into you defensively, and Davion Mitchell, I think that's definitely what they're going to want. Hopefully, they make the right choice here. I really want Sacramento to be good. I think they'll go Mitchell. All right, number 10, Memphis. They got this pick. As you see, they got it from New Orleans in that big, I guess, not blockbuster, but that big first trade of the offseason. I think the only reason why they would have traded up here and given up a guy like Jonas Valanciunas is because they had their eyes on a certain player. So now reports have been coming out that player is indeed Josh Giddey. I don't really know how I feel about that, but I believe that they will go after him, because if I look at the other players they could get, Keon Johnson, I don't really think they're going to go after another guy who's really more he's really raw. I don't think they're going to go after a prospect like that, because Memphis, I believe they're going to go into a win now mode. Josh Giddey is way more of a plug and play guy. Jalen Johnson's once again a little more raw. They already have a player like Corey Kispert in Grayson Allen. I don't think they need another one of him, or another just pure shooter who doesn't really do much else. And I think that is why they're going to go Josh Giddey. I think that he's going to be able to take a lot of the playmaking load off of John Morant, allow John Morant to be able to be more of a scorer, which I think means that Memphis is going to be at their best. So I think Josh Giddey is pretty much locked in at number 10. All right, number 11, the Charlotte Hornets. Now, as you see here, their team needs are severe at center, and I probably could not agree more. Their two centers right now are I believe Bismack Biyombo and Cody Zeller. Not bad players, but they could definitely improve. And that's why I think they're going to go with the center Alperen Sengun from Turkey. He is a little undersized. You see he is 6'9", but he's really, really long, and he's got a really diverse skill set. Kind of like Jokic was, but obviously more athletic and more well-known, more polished than Jokic was when he came into the league. But I think if he's available, Charlotte would be dumb not to take him, because they really need an influx of youth into that front, or into their front court. At number 12 with San Antonio Spurs, Keon Johnson just seems like he is absolutely locked in there. He seems like just the type of guy that San Antonio would want. A raw prospect who has a ton of defensive ability and who's crazy athletic. Sounds exactly like Lonnie Walker. Sounds exactly like DeJounte Murray. It sounds like Derek White. Those are the last probably 3 first-round picks that they've taken. So I think Keon Johnson is pretty much locked in. This is the highest they've picked in a really, really long time. They could trade down. I've heard that they might be able to trade down. But I think they're probably just going to stay at. I think they're going to stay at 12, and they're probably going to take Keon Johnson. Keon Johnson's crazy athletic, set the combine record for vertical leap. So I think he's locked into the San Antonio. At 13, Indiana Pacers. Indiana is definitely a team that could trade down. I think they did have a lot of injuries last year. I think Malcolm Brogdon was hurt for a while. Sabonis was hurt for a bit. Miles Turner was out. So I don't really know. I mean, you see here their team needs. They're really small forwards, probably the only thing they need, and that's I think they're going to go with Corey Kispert, just like how Memphis was. They're going to want a guy who's more of a plug and play guy. Jalen Johnson's going to need a bit more of development that I don't know if Indiana's going to want to have. I think they're going to go probably one more year of trying to win, and I think that they could either go Johnson if they want to, stay conservative and then have a kind of top prospect to fall back on, or they're going to go Corey Kispert and try and go a little more all in, because Corey Kispert's definitely more of a plug and play guy. He doesn't have much athleticism. He doesn't have much more game besides shooting, but I think that his shooting is crazy good. I think he's by far the best shooter in the draft, and for the Pacers to be able to pick that up, I think that's great for them. I think being able to get a spot up guy who's a knockdown shooter is, I think, a little more important than getting a project guy. So. Okay, at number 14 now, the Golden State Warriors. I believe they are locked in to take Chris Duarte. There are a lot of other guys that they could take here, but they have been really, really rumored to be pretty much in love with Chris Duarte. Duarte's stock just shot up after, not after the combine, but just after his individual workouts with teams. He forgoed the combine. People thought he might have had a first-round promise from a team, but I think that it's just because he was just as confident in his ability to be good. Just be good and be able to be plug and play. He said earlier in an interview that if you want to win now, he's your guy. If you want to win 6-7 years from now, he's not your guy. I think that Golden State, with Klay Thompson coming back from injury, but him being a little up there in age, with Steph Curry obviously being up there in age, Draymond Green starting to get up there in age, their core needs a guy who's able to win now, and I think Chris Duarte is that great guy. He's a very, very good on-ball defender. Not so great off the ball. He is 24. That's really his only flaw, but he's a great shooter. I think he's probably second in the draft behind Corey Kispert. I think he's going to be a great addition to them. They do need a small forward, but they already took Kaminga, so I think they're going to go with shooting guard and take Chris Duarte. So Washington Wizards now with the 15th pick. They have a lot of controversy surrounding them. That was the end of the lottery, so I'm just going to go really quick here. They're going to go Usman Garuba, defensive guy. They really need a small forward, and especially with all the whatever is going on with Westbrook and Beal, the trade rumors, I think they're going to need a young guy, so they're going to go Usman Garuba. Okay, I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going to go with Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, they say like small forwards, pretty severe need. They got James Bouknight at guard, but Jalen Johnson's really, really a need that they need. They're going to be able to get a guy to develop on the wing. I think that he's pretty much locked in there. 17th, New Orleans. They traded back with Memphis, and I think they're going to get just as good of a player in Moses Moody. He's a phenomenal scoring talent. They really are going to need that influx of scoring in their backcourt if they lose Lonzo Ball, which they likely will. And they are rumored to go after Kyle Lowry. I don't know how that's going to work. I think they're going to need a scoring guard in their backcourt. Moses Moody fits that mold perfectly. He's going to fit in great. So, Oklahoma City Thunder. This is kind of the area where there's so many people who could be picked. Like, between 15 and 30, 18 and 30, there's probably like 20 guys who could go in that area. There's so many people, so many deep. This is such a deep draft, especially at guard. This is such a deep draft that they could go to, and I think that's going to be really, really interesting to see how it plays out on draft night. But the Oklahoma City's 18th pick, I think they're going to go Isaiah Jackson. They do need a little more size. They have good guard prospects, and they got a couple wing prospects. They do not have any big prospects who are really promising. I think they're going to go Isaiah Jackson. New York Knicks need a point guard, and they need a point guard bad. Sharif Cooper is the very, very obvious choice, and I think they're going to take him. Atlanta, obviously they made their surprising run to the conference finals. They need a number 2, but I think that's probably going to come in free agency or through a trade. I don't think that's going to come to the draft, especially this late with the 20th pick. So I think they're going to go Jared Butler here. Jared Butler's a more defensive-minded guy. I think having someone like that off the bench with Lou Williams probably going to be gone. I think Jared Butler is probably the safe choice for them. The Knicks, once again, they have another pick here. This could go any number of ways. This really could go any number of ways. There's a lot of guys here they could pick. They pick Sharif Cooper, who's a point guard. I don't think they go point guard back-to-back picks, but they definitely could. They could go Cam Thomas, Trey Murphy. I think they're going to go Day'Ron Sharpe. They do need a youthful big. They have Mitchell Robinson, and Nerlens Noel is a free agent. Todd Gibson is okay, but he's more of a power forward. So I think they're going to go Day'Ron Sharpe and try and be able to develop a little Twin Towers type of thing with Mitchell Robinson and Sharpe. Los Angeles, once again, they could go any number of places with this. They're rumored to want to move this pick. There's a bunch of people who said that they could go to Utah. It could go to New York. It could go to I believe Sacramento is another team they're talking to. But they need a little bit of a scoring influx in their backcourt, which is why I think they're going to go with Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is probably one of the better strictly buckets guy in this draft. He's not going to really give you much defensively, but if they get him, he's going to be surrounded by pretty good defenders in the backcourt with Caruso. Obviously, LeBron's a very smart defender. You got a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has always been a very good defender. Anthony Davis, obviously. So, I think they'll go Cam Thomas. This is Houston's second first-round selection of this year. I think they're going to go Kai Jones. They need a wing and a power forward really bad. I know they have guys like Jayshawn Tate, but besides Jayshawn Tate, they don't really have anybody on the wing. And besides Christian Wood, they don't really have anyone down low. Kai Jones is a really high potential guy. He can be really good on offense. I think he's going to be great on defense, so I think they'll get him. Back-to-back picks. This is the Bucks pick they got in the P.J. Tucker trade. I think they're just going to go best player available here and take Trey Murphy the third. They took Jalen Green already. They took Kai Jones, who can flip between wings. I think they're just going to go best player available. Get Trey Murphy. I think they're going to have a dynamic backcourt rotation. Now, like the Knicks, the Clippers, they definitely need a point guard. They need a point guard bad. Reggie Jackson, a free agent. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring him back because he's going to command a lot of money after his playoff run. So I think they're going to go Trey Mann, who's definitely more of a scoring guy. With Kawhi Leonard out, they're going to need someone to be able to shoulder the load. I don't know if Trey Mann's going to be that guy immediately, but he's a guy who can definitely shoulder a scoring load off the bench to start his rookie year. He's a great scorer. I think he averaged over 20 points, shot 40% from 3 in college. I think he's going to go to Clippers. All right, so here we go with the Denver Nuggets. There are so many people who Denver could go with here. I'm as a Nuggets fan, I feel like I'm obligated to talk more about this. They worked out Primo, McBride, JT Thor, Quentin Grimes, Josh Christopher. I believe they worked out Ayo Dosunmu, but I'm not sure. But I know for a fact they worked out a decent amount of these guys. There's so many people they could take here. And really, it could go any number of ways. They do have a couple openings in the guard position. Shaq Harrison might not be back. Austin Rivers might not be back. And obviously, you lose Jamal Murray for a decent chunk of the season with his ACL tear. So they're going to need some scoring, but they also need defense because defense was such a big problem. And with Will Barton's kind of free agency up in the air, I know he's rumored to come back. Same with JaMychal Green, who I'll get into later. With him might not be able to come back, they are going to need a guard. They're going to need a guard really, really bad. However, if they lose JaMychal Green and they're not able to re-sign Paul Millsap, or if he retires, they are going to have a real problem in the front court as well, because their backup front court is going to be two very, very young guys, because I'm assuming they would take JT Thor, who they also worked out. There's so many people who they could go to here. But of these guys is a guy who the Nuggets did not work out, and that's Jaden Springer. I think it says he's listed at point guard, but he can definitely play shooting guard. He can flip the two positions. I think that he fits the mold of a Nuggets player really well. He was a very high recruit coming out of high school. He didn't I won't say he underachieved his only year in college, but he didn't live up to the expectations. I mean, he was one of the highest ranked players in his class, and he 29th prospect rank, which isn't really, it's not really what you want. But he's a great defensive player. He's got great length. He's got great defensive instincts. He's a really good shooter. He's a 3-and-D guy. And he can definitely attack downhill. On ball, he showed the ability to be able to do that. So I think if Jaden Springer is on the board here, which is a very slim chance, honestly, the Lakers could have taken him, the Knicks could have taken him, the Hawks could have taken him, but I think he's gonna go. I think the Nuggets, if he's there, Denver should take him. All right, Brooklyn, I have no clue what they're gonna do here. They don't really have any holes. If they're healthy, I think they're gonna win the championship. But they do kind of need a center. They didn't. I mean, it showed last year with they didn't have a paint protector against Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Giannis just barreled through them. I think they're gonna go. They're probably just are gonna take the safe route, go JT Thor, but they definitely could take a chance on Josh Primo, who's the youngest player in the draft. They go Miles McBride, who's a defensive player if they end up losing Bruce Brown. But I think they'll go JT Thor because they definitely need some more size down low. Philly needs a wing. Philly needs a wing bad, so I think they're going to go Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams was also rumored to go number 8 to the Magic. I forgot to mention that, but I don't think he's going to go there. I don't think he's going that early. I think they're going to go Zaire Williams. They drafted a guy. I think that they might have gone Nashawn Highland, but they drafted a guy like that in Tyrese Maxey last year, so I don't think they're going to go with him. I think they're going to go Zaire Williams. They need a wing. Guy can defend because they really lack wing defense, especially if they trade Ben Simmons. They're going to need a defender in there, so they're going Zaire Williams. All right, Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't really need anyone. I think they're just going to go with a defensive-minded player. I think they're going to go Miles McBride. I think McBride he reminds me a lot of Gary Harris. I think they're just going to go with him. Guy can help them on the wings defensively. Just an easy pick. And with the last pick in the first round, we have Utah Jazz. Utah, they had a somewhat disappointing end to their season. They don't know if they're going to be able to re-sign Mike Conley. They really don't. So they could either go point guard or in Nashawn Highland or Josh Primo, or they could go with a center in Charles Bassey because they do need a backup power forward. Because George Niang, he's a good shooter, but he doesn't really provide anything else in that. I think they could definitely go Charles Bassey here. But I think they're just going to go with the safe pick, take Nashawn Highland. Okay, so as I was editing, I realized I forgot to put an outro. So, thank you guys for watching. That was my first ever mock draft that I've done. I did a couple drafts earlier where I kind of messed around with some things, but that was the first ever mock draft that I've done fully. So hopefully you guys liked it. I know I made a couple of mistakes in there. I said Zaire Williams was a wing or a defensive wing when he's really not. Hopefully you guys liked it. Leave some comments and suggestions. Tell me what I should do next. Hopefully I get a video out before school starts about football and stuff. I won't be able to get a video out next week. Hopefully I can get one out in the next couple of weeks though. So thank you all for watching. Peace.